Hello everyone, welcome back to a new video. And in this one, and in this particular part of the video, I wanted to discuss the point that it's currently around the winter holidays, so it's nearly Christmas time. And I was thinking about doing some outreach, some cold calling emails, Instagram DMs. But then I thought it's probably not going to work, and you should probably wait till the new year because people aren't at work, they're wanting to relax with their families or have a nice time with their families and do things with them. So I don't think doing outreach right now would be a good time, a good use of time. I just think it would be pretty pointless. So I think that if you're thinking about doing outreach at this time of year, just wait till the new year. You've only got to wait about 2-3 weeks, and then you should be ready to start your outreach, start doing some cold calling, Instagrams, DMs, whatever it may be. But just give it time. And don't rush into the process, because if you rush into it, you just end up getting the results because no one's going to reply. Everyone's not at work, everyone's too busy with their families or whatever it may be. So yeah, just make sure you're thinking about what time of the day and when you sending your emails or your cold calls or your Instagram DMs. Is it every single day? Is it once a week? Is it in the evenings? Is it in the mornings? Just make sure to be consistent with it. Do it at the peak times if it's something that's available to you. So in the winter holidays that will be available to me because I'm not at school. So I can actually do it during the day, but once I go back to school, I'll have to do it early in the morning, then late in the afternoon or evening. I've got to go to work today, but I'll be taking you with me after work, showing you what I'm doing. And in case you didn't know, I do waitering, so I'm a waiter, and that's why I'm in a work shirt, because we've got a function on today for 145 people, so it should be quite busy. And yeah, that's just what I do, in case you're wondering why I'm in that white shirt and I say I'm going off to work. That's what I do. I'm a waiter. And yeah, so I'll be taking you with me today. And that was the first part of the video. Just wait to do your outreach, be patient with it, make sure you're doing it at the right times, in the mornings, the afternoons, or whenever's best suited for the person or your prospect. Definitely go with those times, and that's why you should wait. Just before I head off to work, I got this book, my birthday, and now I'm up to page 41. And I've already read it, and some of it, I just think this is going to be a good book. It seems like it's going to be helpful. It seems like it teaches some great principles too, so I'll try and implement those as much as I can. So I've just finished the first chapter, and in the instructions of the book it says you can't read more than one chapter in a single night. And I know it's not night time, but I'm only going to do one chapter per day to obey by the rules of the book. And yeah, so tomorrow I'll start chapter 2, hopefully finish it, and just do that every day. Now back from work after a fairly busy function, and I wanted to take this time to talk to you about 2 stories that Napoleon Hill, and he made this book from over 500 successful people and people that he studied and interviewed and asked questions about. And I wanted to talk to you about 2 stories. The first one being about the man that was 3 feet away from gold. So essentially, this guy called Mr. Darby caught the gold fever after the gold rush in America, when everyone was going mad and trying to mine the gold. And there's a classic story of most people made their money selling the spades rather than actually digging the gold, but that's not really related to this. So essentially what he did was he went out and he started looking for gold, and he started digging, and he actually started to find some gold. He was absolutely amazed. He kept doing it, kept finding gold, and got more people involved. And eventually got to a point where he was finding so much gold that he bought machines and he brought the gold up from the ground. And he kept doing that, and he kept finding this gold, and he was thinking, if I could do all of this so many more times, I can pay off all of my debt, etc., and do all these really cool things. But eventually there came a point where he couldn't actually find the gold anymore. There was no more gold, and it was just flat. And so he dug for a few more days, but still nothing. And so what he did, he actually sold all of his equipment. This guy that bought the equipment actually got someone to come out and survey the land. And he said this was a particular part in the land where the gold had stopped, but underneath there would be much more. And so when they brought the machines back to try and start digging for gold again, they found that it was actually 3 feet away from the surface of where the previous person, Mr. Darby, had stopped. And so it just shows the whole moral of the story is you can't give up knowing that there's no results there, because underneath the work that you're doing there could be something big, or a big revelation achievable, and something that is there. You just need to keep putting the work in to get it, rather than putting the work in, seeing results immediately, and then not seeing results and then giving up. You just need to put in the work. If you're seeing results or not, it doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is that you keep going, you keep pushing forward, you keep actually trying to get towards where you want to be. and that is the number one lesson, and that's the whole point and the takeaway from that. So he gave up, and he was only 3 feet away from the gold that he was looking for, and actually found out to be the biggest gold mine in, I can't remember what state it was, it might have been Colorado, I think it was Colorado. And yeah, so it was the biggest gold mine in Colorado, but he just gave up because he didn't see the immediate results after he started to dig the gold. The previous few days he'd been seeing it, and then he didn't see it, so he just gave up. But if he kept going, he would have found the biggest gold mine in Colorado. I think it was Colorado. So it just goes to show you can't give up, you have to keep going, you have to keep pushing forward with whatever it is you're trying to do. And it's something really important. So that's the first story out of the Napoleon Hill Think and Grow Rich book that I've been reading today. And then the second one is all about the man that was determined. So Edwin Barnes wanted to be in a partnership with Edison. So Edison was this amazing engineer, everyone admired him, he was great at what he did, the best in the world. And so this guy called Edwin Barnes was super determined to be a partner with him and be a partner in his business. So the way that this partnership came about was not easy, and it took years, and it took persistence and non-stop trying for him to become a partner with this Edison. So essentially what happened was that this guy, Edwin Barnes, he had this burning desire, and it was the one thing he was set on. He would not let it go. He would not give it up. He would not think about anything else. He wanted to be a partner with Edison. It was the one thing he had set in his mind, and he was going to stop at nothing to get there. So the action he took was actually becoming an employee of Edison's, and he was working, just doing all the boring jobs for Edison that many others were doing. Edison barely knew him, didn't really know that he was doing such crucial and important jobs, but everyone just did them, so it just really wasn't a thing that was sort of looked upon or seen by many of the company professionals or CEOs or C-suite executives, whatever it may be. So he was just doing all these boring, mundane tasks that Edwin didn't want to do. That's why he hired employees and did all this kind of thing. Edwin barely knew who was there. He barely knew he was part of the team, you know. And so eventually, after years and years of doing that, and when I say years, he was doing this for years. He was just constantly working in the job, and the only reason he was doing it was to keep his passion alive of working with Edison. He wasn't doing it because he enjoyed the admin tasks or because he liked the mundane tasks or liked the office work. The only reason he did it was to become a partnership with Edison. And so he still got nowhere. He was still just working for Edison, but never spoke to him, never did any interactions with him, never even asked him for a partnership. Definitely didn't send him an email, as that was too long ago now. But yeah, after a certain amount of time, Edison invented this new thing about a telephone, so just like the office telephones, but the old ones that were on the walls. And so he was looking for people to sell these telephones. And so Edwin Barnes immediately saw this opportunity. He saw that he was looking for people to sell these telephones, his new invention, the one thing that was going to change the world and everyone would be grateful for. So Edwin Barnes went right ahead and tried to take advantage of this by saying that he would absolutely sell all of these phones. So he took up the role. Edison let him take up the role, and he sold so many of these phones, and he kept doing it consistently and in a way that no other sales rep could, that no other salesperson that he'd ever come into contact with could do before. But because he had been working for him for years, he let him take up this role. He took up the role, and he made loads of sales. And from there, I'm sure it's a lot more complicated from that, but from there they became partners, and his name was in the slogan of the company name. So Edwin Barnes did become a partner with Edison with his name in the slogan. And the whole thing there is all about, if you can think about a goal, if you can see it, visualize it, and try and do every action to get closer towards it, then why can't you get towards that goal? And I think that's a really powerful message, and that's probably one of the most powerful messages that will be in the book. I don't know, I haven't read it all yet, but it's got to be one of the most powerful lessons that are going to be in that book. Because if you can see a goal, you visualize it, you do every single thing you can in your power to try and get towards the goal, then what's stopping you from getting there? So let's say, hypothetically, you want to become CEO of Gymshark. Well, if you start as an employee in Gymshark, and then you try and make many sales, you get promoted, you become a little bit higher in the company, and then you make so many sales that you hire more salespeople to do the sales, or you teach more salespeople in Gymshark to do more sales, and then you become on top of all the salespeople. And then from there you become the financial officer, and then you become the chief executive officer. I know that's easier said than done, it's got to be a long process, it's going to take years and years. But the principle is there. And if you just thought you wanted to become the CEO of Gymshark and you went and worked in Pizza Hut, and then went home and tried to start your online business that had nothing to do with Gymshark, well, that's not you trying to align yourself with your goals and you trying to take every action towards your goals. So your goal might be start your online business and make £100,000 per month. Well, if you're going to come home, scroll on social media, watch a movie, eat popcorn, do all these things that aren't getting you towards your goal, then you're not in alignment with your goal. You're not trying every move you can to get closer towards it, and you're not trying your absolute hardest to get there. And that's the main message that story is putting out. So the key takeaway of the video is don't give up. You never know how close you could be. You could be literally 3 feet away from gold. And the second one is, if you can see a goal, visualize it, and you take every action towards that goal, then why shouldn't you be able to get there? And that is the message I want to leave you with. And there'll probably be more in the future, me talking about the book, me trying to show the lessons that it teaches and the important things that I've taken away from it so far, as it has been really, really good reading today. Today's been the first day I've read it. I read the first chapter, and it just seems really good, and like it provided a lot of insight. So Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. That's kind of the end of the video, and I just wanted to thank you all for watching. So remember to take it one step at a time, and I'll see you in the next one.